Welcome to our 5 on 5. Pleased to be joined today by Monica McFadden, Josephine County Sheriff Search and Rescue. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Thanks for having us.
Thanks for being here. Busy day today.
It is a busy day today.
We'll see if that phone goes off.
We hope not.
So you've been with the organization since 2005. What type of volunteer commitment are we talking about?
Volunteer commitment is pretty much up to the volunteer within reason. Most of us, I'd say, put in about somewhere between probably 10 to 15 hours a week for some of us, a month for other people. The volunteer commitment is basically when the alerts go off, if you can respond, and we encourage people to do that, please do, because it means that someone is having a really bad day and we need to go help them. So that's what the volunteer commitment is. There's no specific number.
Sure.
It's more do what you can. And then there is also a 30-hour-a-year training commitment that people have to do, continuing education, essentially training.
Sure. All right. So could you ballpark for us how often you get those calls that you must respond to?
Josephine County gets about 40 missions a year. In addition to that, we are part of CORSAR, which is the California-Oregon Regional Search and Rescue. It's 10 counties, basically as far up as Douglas, as far down as Siskiyou, Del Norte, and Modoc. And we will go on mutual aid when that's necessary. We probably do, I'd say, maybe 20, 25 missions a year with CORSAR. All varies, though.
Sure. Yeah, I understand. It's just, you never know. There's no.
Well, you
these
never
things
know.
are not scheduled.
Things are not scheduled. No, they are not.
Okay, and I want to talk to you about. We have a deadline a week from today. Application process for the Search and Rescue Academy.
Correct.
What type of commitment is this academy?
The academy is a 40-hour program, educational program. It's both field and classroom education. That's how you get into search and rescue. You cannot become a search and rescue volunteer without going through our academy. And as you say, our application deadline for that is Monday. And the academy will start on March 12th, which is a week from Tuesday. Once you go through the academy, there's also we have to have some things that you prove that you can do things. There's a state test that you have to take and pass with an 80% level. Nobody fails that test. We make sure of that. You've been taught what you need. You've been trained. You know what you need to put in the test. And then there's also performance objectives that have to be met. You have to demonstrate that you can do things like, for example, navigate. Because if we put you in the field for a search, it's important that you be able to do that. You need to prove that you understand what would happen if something turned into a crime scene. Suddenly we think what was a normal thing turned into a crime scene. First aid, if we have to help people in the field. So there's that sort of thing that happens. Those requirements are set by the Oregon State Sheriff's Association. So that's any search and rescue volunteer in the state will have to meet those criteria.
Okay, we're going to take a quick commercial break. Have much more in just a moment. Stay with us. Welcome back to our 5 on 5. We're going to hear with Monica McFadden with Josephine County Sheriff Search and Rescue. We're talking about the Search and Rescue Academy starting up in a couple of weeks in Josephine County. All volunteer organization, and applications are due in a week. So you guys are doing this training from, say, mid-March, it looks like, through April. It's 40 hours total?
Roughly 40 hours
Roughly
of training.
40 hours total. Well, you talked a little bit about the type of training, but what really are they going to be doing in this training?
What they're going to do is they're going to learn all the basic skills to be a search and rescue volunteer. We assume that somebody can walk in the door with literally no understanding of how this stuff works, and we will teach them. So we'll teach them navigation, we will teach them first aid, we will teach them search tactics, how we go out and actually search for people. We will teach them everything, and survival. Should, for example, and this has happened to almost all of us, where we've had to spend the night in the field with a subject. And so how to survive, that sort of thing. And so what we do is we teach them all of the basic skills they'll need to become a qualified search and rescue volunteer. So anybody who says, well, I don't know if I can do that. When I started, I had no idea what a compass was. Now I do.
Yeah.
So.
Excellent. Okay, and can you be we have a lot of viewers who might not live in Josephine County.
Absolutely.
Can you volunteer if you're not a resident?
Yes, you certainly can volunteer if you're not a resident. The one thing people need to think about is response time. Because when that pager goes off, it's not a pager anymore, but we still use that language. When the call comes out, you need to be able to respond quickly. So what we encourage is people to be fairly close, but we've got people from various counties who are part of search and rescue.
Yeah, and you talked before, you've been with them 14 years.
Right.
It's volunteer, as we talked about, and it's not a 365 days a year thing. It's Is it fair? Do you feel like you're on call at all times?
You do actually feel like you're on call at all times, but you can put yourself off call. I mean, for example, one of our key volunteers is going to Paris next week.
Okay.
Well, we're delighted for him, and he's certainly not going to respond.
Okay.
Yes.
That's good to know. We're trying to bring people in as volunteers
Absolutely.
for this. Okay, and it's a $50 fee to apply and to do the academy?
Correct. It's a $50 fee for the academy, and that covers basically our paper costs and the materials that we use to do things. And then, should they decide to go on and become a volunteer, there is a $50 uniform fee just to ensure that the uniforms get back to us, essentially.
Okay.
And they're going to have to, one thing people do need to be aware of is that they will be responsible for their own basic equipment. So what's in their pack, the stuff that they'll carry. We provide, obviously, the trucks and things of that sort. But there's, people spend about, I'd say maybe $100 to $200 getting their own equipment. But that's doable.
Okay, great to see you.
Great to see you. Thanks, Craig.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.